In Lesson 4, we're going to focus on creating page styles. Just like in Lesson 3, we created some new custom paragraph styles. In this lesson, we'll do a similar thing, but focus on pages instead of paragraphs. The page styles includes information about the page size, the layout, whether it's portrait or landscape. It includes the margins, columns, if columns are used, background color, and more. Pages can also have headers and footers. And we'll be creating headers and footers during this lesson. I've got a little bit of a head start on Lesson 4, and what I've done so far is I've opened LibreOffice, and then I opened the original My Lesson 1 document. Then I saved it with a new name, and you can see in the title bar that I'm now working on a document named My Lesson 4 document. I've also made sure that the paragraphs in document 1, or the ones that I imported from document 1, are all using the text body paragraph style. And I did one more thing. I copied them over and over again until I had at least 3 pages in my document. And you can see that here. Page 1 of 3. The reason for that is we're going to be creating page formats for documents that will have facing pages with wider margins on the right side of left-facing pages and on the left side of right-facing pages. Let me show you an example of that. Here's an example of a document that has 6 pages. You can see here that we're showing page 1 of 6. I'm also displaying this set of pages using the book view down here on the right end of the status bar. You can see that I've selected book view, and the book view will show a single page for the first page. That's because when you open a book, you always open it looking at a right side page. And if the book is printed double-sided, then page 2 will be a left side page. Page 3, or all the odd number pages, will be right side pages, and all the even number pages will be left side pages. And if you're going to print your document double-sided and use a binding, then it's a good idea to have wider margins on the left side of the right pages and on the right side of the left pages. That's so that you'll have room for binding, whether you're going to use punched binding or stapled or whatever. If you want to be able to have this document shown with double-sided and open like a book, then this is the type format of pages that we'll need to create. And this is a set of page styles that we're going to be designing for this project. Now you should pause here and follow the steps found in Lesson 4 of the tutorial until you get to the point where you've created the 3 pages for My Lesson 4 document. Once you've done that, come on back and we'll start creating the custom page formats. In the sidebar, have the Styles and Formatting options selected. Remember, you can select this Settings tool, and from there you can select Styles and Formatting. Then you'll have a number of Styles and Formatting options here. Be sure that you select the Page Styles option, and then be sure you set the list to Custom Styles. At this point, there should be no page styles in your Custom Styles window. Now in the Styles Formatting Page Styles area, right-click and select New, and that will open up the Page Style dialog box. Now this looks very much like the Paragraph Style dialog box. So you have a head start in knowing what the interface looks like, but be very careful to check to make sure that you're using page styles, not paragraph styles in this exercise. We're going to go to the Organizer tab, and then we'll create a page style with the name My Left Pages. Next, we'll select the Page tab, and here's where you control the paper format, the margins, and other layout settings. Because we're doing it in the USA, We're setting this up for 8.5 by 11 paper. If you're in Europe, you may want to set it up for A size, or maybe you use a special size paper in your area. We'll set the margins so that there will be extra space for the binding. Now we're working on a page style for left pages, so we'll have the right margin be 0.75, and the other margins will make all of those a 1/2 inch or 0.5. Notice when you enter things in these little text boxes, you can press the tab key to jump to the next text box, and using the tab key in this case will speed up the process a little bit. And so now we have 1/2 inch margins everywhere except the right side. There are other properties that we can set, but for this lesson we're just going to go to the header tab, and we're going to toggle the header on, and also we'll go to the footer tab and toggle the footer on. So our left side pages will have both headers and footers, and then we'll say OK. We'll follow the same process to create the page format for right pages, but this time the next style is going to be my left pages. So I've gone ahead and I've done that, and I've also made sure to set the left margin large, 0.75, and the right margins, top and bottom margins, all a 1/2 inch. I've also gone ahead and toggled the header on and toggled the footer on. We have one more page style to create, and that's the My First Page style. And since the first page is going to be on the right side, we'll have the next style be My Left Pages. Once again, in the page area, we will set the left margin to be large and the other margins all to be a 1/2 inch. In this case, for the first page, we'll have a header, but we will not have a footer. There's one more thing we have to do before we've completed defining our page styles. We're going to go to the My Left Pages, right-click on it, select Modify, and go back to the Organizer tab. And you'll recall when we created that, we didn't have the other page styles available for the next style. So we're going to change the next style from My Left Pages to My Right Pages. So now the pages will go back and forth. First page to left page to right page to left page, and so on. By now you should have followed the instructions in the Lesson 4 tutorial, and you should have the 3 different page styles available. So put the cursor in the text document. To be sure that we're at the beginning, we'll hold the Control key down and press Home. Now the cursor is somewhere on the first page, and so we're going to double-click on the first page style. Now you'll see there's room for a header, but there's also, down on the status bar, there's also the indication that we're on the first page. Let's scroll down and see what happens when we put the cursor on the next page. Sure enough, it's My Left Page, and if we go to the third page, it's a right page. Let's see how that looks in the book view. So I'll go over here on the status bar, select the book view, and then I'm going to zoom way out so that we can see first page, left page, right page, and we've got the margins wider for the middle when we print double-sided. Next, we'll place some text in the headers. I've gone ahead and pressed Control Home to get to the top of the first page. Then I'll put the cursor outside the text area into the header area, and I'll type My Lesson 4 title. I'm not going to worry about the paragraph format for that header yet. We'll do that a little later. Instead, I'm going to scroll down until I get to the header on My Left Pages, and I'll enter a header for that. And I'll do a similar thing for a header for the right page. I don't like to type any more than I have to, so I selected that left page header text, and then I scroll down to the right page and I paste it, but then all I have to do is select that word and edit the text. So with a little bit of selection, copy, and paste, you can save yourself a bit of typing time. The next thing we need to do for this document is to create a series of custom paragraph styles. Now, you learned about creating paragraph styles back in Lesson 3. Over in the sidebar, we have to change from the Page Styles option to the Paragraph Style option. Then we can right-click and create a new paragraph style. In the Paragraph Style dialog box, we'll enter the name My Title Paragraph, and we'll use My Title Paragraph as the next style, but we don't want to inherit from any other paragraph style, so we'll scroll here until we find the None option. I'll select the Alignment tab and set the alignment to center, and then I'll choose a font. In this example, I think I'll use Times Roman, and I'll make it bold, and I think 20 points for now. I'll choose the Font Effects tab, and I'm going to turn on the Shadow option. You'll notice there are a number of different effects available. For this example, I'll just use the Shadow effect, and then I'll select the Area tab and choose a color. I think light yellow 4 will be good for this. And for borders, I'll turn on the top and bottom borders only option. And then I can select the OK button to close the paragraph style dialog box. Well, let's see what this new paragraph style looks like when we apply it. But I want to make sure I'm at the top of the document, so I'll press Control Home, and then I'll go up to the header for this page. Actually, remember, we're on my first page in this document, so I'll put the cursor somewhere in the header paragraph, and then from the sidebar, I'll double-click on the My Title Paragraph style, and there you see the results of applying that style. There are a number of other paragraph styles to create for this document, but the process is pretty much the same. I'll pause here while you get a chance to go through the lesson and go ahead and create your own custom paragraph styles. Notice as you go through the steps in the lesson that you can take advantage of the Inherit From option when you're creating the headers and footers. This will save you a little bit of time in creating these new paragraph styles. Once you've created all your new paragraph styles, you might want to choose the Book View Display option and then zoom out a bit and check to see how it works. You should have a title in a header on the first page, no footer, and then you should have a left header and left footer on the left side pages, and an extra space in the middle for binding, and a right header and a right footer on the right side pages. Now, it may seem like a lot of busy work to go through this process of creating page styles and then creating paragraph styles for all the headers and footers and text body, but the good news is you only have to do that once, because once you have a set of styles in place in one document, you can move those styles to any other document that you want to create in the future.